Welcome back to Mighty Race Later, where we're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's get into it. Last week, we talked a lot about Dianna Russini and journalistic ethics. And well, it's only messier this week.
And not in a fun way. Now it's spouses looking for divorce attorneys and journalists looking for trauma counseling.
The White House Correspondents Dinner dominated our news feeds, our group chats, and our sanity. But it will not dominate this podcast. We would like to stay fun and lawsuit-free.
But nothing says I need a new ballroom like turning the current one into a crime scene. Just saying. But yeah, generally, we like to keep our bad jokes and conspiracy theories within the sports and entertainment realm, so we aren't going to rubberneck the events of last weekend's Nerd Prom.
Today, we are sticking to the fun, trashy side of reality, starting with Carrie's favorite fall soap opera, NFL football.
Yeah, but I guess I just don't understand why we're talking about it in May. That's my limit.
See, but this is when they are going to update their casts for next season. The NFL draft just ended, and there's a million analysts that are going to tell you who the winners and the losers are. But here at Mighty Race Later, we have a slightly different view on it all. The biggest winners are the Raiders and Fernando Mendoza. This is no surprise to anyone, but it's still a win. And to make it better, the Raiders brought Kirk Cousins over to be his mentor, and I just love that all around.
I do remember you dragging me to a Commanders game during his "you like that" era, and yeah, he was fun to watch.
Right? I like him. And I think Kurt is going to be a great mentor to Fernando. He's going to get him accustomed to the NFL and to ultimately be a franchise quarterback. Now, some are saying Kurt is a journeyman who will only get you to 9-8, but that's a whole lot better than the Raiders' 3-14 record last year. Another winner from the draft is Simpson. He was chosen 13th overall by the Rams. He's a quarterback out of Alabama, and he's going to back up Matthew Stafford.
Is this another good mentor buddy movie situation?
Maybe. But the real win is that he was picked 10 to 15 spots higher than anyone thought he would. Now, the Rams shocked literally everyone. Analysts, fans, definitely their own coach. Now, that's great for Ty's ego, but even better for his checking account.
And for those of us who are lesser informed of all draft politics, why is that?
So all rookie contracts are predetermined by the NFL collective bargaining agreement. How many years your contract is, salary, when to renegotiate, guaranteed money. It's all set in advance based on when you were selected through the draft. So the difference between being selected at 13 instead of 25 is $6 million over 4 years.
Well, then good for him then.
And I'm sure you saw the viral Makai Lemon, the wide receiver from USC. He was literally on the phone with the Steelers when his agent got a call from the Eagles saying they had just traded up and are about to take him. So not only did Makai get to go to a better team, he made a little bit more money. And the Steelers were furious, like publicly mad at the Cowboys for letting Philly jump them. So Makai not only upgraded teams, he got to watch Pittsburgh melt down on live TV. Chef's kiss.
So what if you really hate the team that drafts you? Can you decline? I'm just thinking it's like a Love is Blind where like you meet the person, you're like, oh, not you. And that would be incredibly awkward to watch on TV. But could you do it?
Not really. So for these top prospects, either the guys that are at the draft or the ones that have camera crews at their houses, they've typically had interviews with several teams already. And they've all kind of agreed this is going to be a good fit. I think the last time a player refused was Eli Manning. He was expected to go first in the 2004 draft, and the Chargers had that pick. But the Manning family decided that was not going to work for them. So Eli was drafted number 1 by the Chargers, but later that day, he was traded to the Giants in exchange for their 4th overall pick, your boy, Phillip Rivers.
Granddad.
And although I think that Eli is only the 3rd best quarterback in his own family, he does have 2 Super Bowl wins, while Phillip is considered the best quarterback to never have won. So maybe it was all worth it.
That's right. Eli got rings while Phillip got memes. So the Manning family made the right call. Okay. So we've covered all the winners of the draft. Who are the losers?
Diego Pavia. That's it. He's the biggest loser.
And where was he drafted?
He was not.
Well, a birdie tells me that he was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy.
He was. And he threw himself a draft party. He had a full spread, all of his friends and family. There was cameras rolling, the works.
Oh, that's awkward. That has to hurt.
Yes. And like I said, right, the NFL identifies the top prospects who they're expected to go in the first round so that they can either be in the draft or have a camera crew. As part of that, New Era sends all 32 team hats for the players at home so they can put it on immediately. But Diego Pavia posted a photo of all of his hats at his party, and they were not the official ones.
Right. So I always wondered how that happened, why they just seemed to have the hat on hand, the exact hat they needed. So what you're saying is Diego didn't take the hint when New Era didn't send him 32 hats. So he went and got his own. And then he ultimately did not wear any of his sad little hats.
Right. The NFL didn't even think he was worth sending hats to. So he bought the knockoffs and then sat there all night not getting drafted. It's almost Shakespearean.
Well, this is really, really sad. Is he going to get picked up at all, you think?
I don't. Look, Tom Brady didn't get drafted until the 6th round, and he's considered the GOAT. Anything is possible. And Diego was invited to minicamp at the Baltimore Ravens. But Lamar Jackson isn't going anywhere for a while. And I'm not sure how well Diego is going to do sitting on the bench as the third string. Plus, he's officially 5'11", which means an actual 5'9.5". He doesn't have an agent because he didn't want to pay the fee, and teams already think he's a headache. So yeah, the minicamp invite is nice, but it's basically a thanks for playing consolation prize.
And I almost feel bad for the guy. So Jennipedia tells me that this is the first Heisman finalist to go undrafted since 2014.
That is correct. But I don't feel bad for the guy. Look, he even has Johnny Manziel telling him of his own regrets and to not be like him. And instead of learning from that and hiring a PR team and an agent, what does Diego do? He ignores all of that. And ultimately, he's going to wind up in the Canadian League, making $70K a year until they get tired of his antics. And then he's going to become a used car salesman, telling stories about how he was so good, teams were intimidated by him. And eventually, he's going to be a footnote in someone else's story.
Well, okay. Well, that's bleak. And on that note, I do know that hockey playoffs have started, and I also know that your Capitals aren't in them. So what are you watching?
So for starters, no more Tkachuk brothers until the fall.
Well, the Florida Panthers didn't make the playoffs, and the Ottawa Senators were swept by the Kings.
And the offseason should be interesting for those Senators and the younger Tkachuk brother. Brady is the captain, and he does have a no-trade clause in his contract. But don't be surprised if he's wearing a different uniform next year.
Is that because he's, not good at his job?
His 0 goals and 0 assists in the playoffs certainly didn't help his case. I mean, he was literally crying on camera after the sweep. Okay, brutal. But also maybe score a goal. But I think it's going to be more about his leadership and his podcast.
And we've talked about the podcast before, so I am being drawn to the conclusion that you don't like their podcast.
I really don't. I also really need them to learn how to edit it. So a few weeks ago, their guest was their dad, Keith. Keith is an ex-NHL player. He was there for a long time. He's considered one of the greatest not in the Hall of Fame, which I think makes him better.
And is he bitter or is it you?
Ha ha. Fair question. But Keith was on his son's show and went on a rant about how Brady didn't have as many shifts as he should have and his ice time was down. That is a clear swipe at the coach. Then he ranted about how soft the league is becoming, how players are out for a hurt pinky, and how goalies can't go back-to-back anymore. Now, at that time, Matthews' team had several injured players, and Brady's goalie had just taken a day off for rest after taking a month off earlier in the season for mental health.
So Papa Tkachuk was just out there talking shit about his kids' teammates like a loser dad at a teen ball tournament?
Pretty much. And here's the thing. You can edit that out after production. You don't have to put that out there for your teammates to hear the morning of a game. Brady let his dad call his goalie soft, question his teammates' toughness, and undermine his coach, all while he's wearing the C. Now, that's not captain behavior. That's, why does no one pass me the puck anymore behavior.
So you've got this dude who's the captain of his team basically agreeing that, yeah, my goalie is soft.
Yeah. And to me, that shows a shitty leader and someone the guys won't be excited to get behind. They got swept. He cried. But honestly, listen to your goalie next time, not your dad's podcast rants.
So who are you cheering for this postseason?
We got to go with the Buffalo Sabres. 1, because it's been 15 years since they were in the playoffs. And 2, because our mascot, Chad Michael Murray, has become their mascot. He's wearing a goat head hat and waving a souvenir saber. How do you not want 2 more months of that? Carrie, I know last time we talked about Jennie Garth's book, and you are currently reading it. Are you fully in your I Choose Me era?
Well, I'm fully 4 chapters in.
Okay.
And I don't know. It feels like I am listening to the audiobook and disclaimer because I knew that I probably wasn't going to find this the most exciting read of my year, and at least she does narrate the audiobook, so it makes it more interesting, I think. But my overall impression is just listening to a privileged white woman whose life was pretty okay overall and came from, a stable family background and 2 loving parents and Midwestern values and no major childhood tragedies. And then suddenly she's famous and lived in an actual fantasy world, married to a handsome actor, and her children are in private school and they have a 23-acre horse ranch. And then her bubble was popped and then she had to join reality like the rest of us. And so the idealized world that she lived in of putting marriage and motherhood on a pedestal isn't really relatable to me. And also I've started referring to this as the book of platitudes because it's seriously 75% platitudes. And I wrote some of them down because I thought you might be interested.
Yes. Do you want to?
Because I know we're not going to agree on this topic, but I think we can agree.
We aren't. You're not gonna convince me that Jennie Garth is not amazing.
But the platitudes are gold, right? So
Okay.
We've got when she talks about her time separated from her second husband and relying on help of others. She's like, she was more than just a nanny. She was family. And, in the immediate aftermath of divorce, when she's laying in bed all day and eating cupcakes till the children come home, and then she has to go be strong for her family. And then as she starts awakening, she learned to lean into the quiet and the freedom and the wide open spaces and start rebuilding the broken pieces into something new. And my favorite is the life I was losing was making space for the life I was meant to step into. So,
Now, is there any room for you to believe that cliches are there for a reason? Like because they're true, because they're relatable, because it's a universal feeling?
to a certain extent, yeah, sure, but it's 75% of the book. Like, at some point, it's just an excuse for not having anything real to say, except for I will say she did go on a good stereotypical white woman healing journey. She, no shame, because this sounds amazing. She went to Bali on a private retreat and had some spiritual cleansing performed by some native folk. And then on her way back to whatever hotel bungalow she was staying in, she got trapped in one of the infamous Bali rainstorms. It's just so much rain, it's just sheets of rain, right? And then she has a moment of like, wow, you really can't outrun a downpour, and you just have to let it soak through you, and eventually the skies will clear, because they always do. And then all the other rich people therapies and Buddhist meditation, and so it's hard for me not to just find this comedy at points,
because we talked about this, like, you don't find her relatable, but I think a lot of people, I think she is one of the more relatable Hollywood celebrities, actresses that we grew up with, because I do think in Hollywood she's not wealthy. She's like middle class for her contemporaries. And so, yes, she's going to Bali, but she also posts on her Instagram of her camping trip.
She does mention having an RV, which,
yes.
I come from
She
RV.
loves an RV vacation with the kids.
And perhaps, again, I haven't fully talked myself out of not finishing the books. There's a chance that I'll keep going to see if at some point her and I can meet in the middle. Because again, I just don't feel like she fell that far. And as I was telling you, I'm contrasting this with having recently watched the Patty Schmel documentary Hit So Hard, who is, for those who don't know, the drummer from Hole, who shared in her memoir her journey from being in Hole to becoming a heroin addict, living under a bridge on Skid Row. And then recently also Melissa Oftemer, who was the bassist from Hole and then later Smashing Pumpkins, just came out with her memoir called Even the Good Girls Will Cry. And notably, for all my other grunge girlies out there, the other week was the 32nd anniversary of Live Through This coming out. So we're there age-wise if you're listening to this. But is it strange that I find a heroin addict living under a bridge on Skid Row more relatable than Jennie Garth? Again, that does say more about me than Jennie Garth.
You're like this Midwest upbringing, this bridge troll. Which one am I closer to?
Right? I was just like, you are totally unrelatable. This bridge troll, however, we could hang. And I do firmly believe that. In chapter 4, Jennie does finally acknowledge her privilege. Because again, she's not and she still isn't a massive Hollywood star. I mean, 90210, let's face it, was her big thing. And she's had some minor parts, and she has her podcast, and she has her seminars that she's had. But she addresses her privilege of saying, yes, I had the time and space and financial security to go find myself again. And I recognize that not everyone has that. But she also is like, but I did also rely on my own resourcefulness. And I persevered. So can you. So, you just, for poor people who are working on their mental health, you just need to be a little more resourceful. So what say you, Jenn?
Like I said, you're not going to ever convince me that Jennie Garth and Kelly Taylor are not perfect.
I get that. She did give us podcast tips in this book, though.
Okay.
She does have her podcast that she's very proud of. And she tells us to dream big and to take risk and take up space as part of shifting to an abundance mindset. So that's what we're really lacking here, is we need to shift to an abundance mindset and ask ourselves, what's the worst that could happen? And she gives the story of when her first big guest that she was asking on was a fellow actress that she thought was a bigger deal than her, and she was so intimidated to ask this big celebrity to come onto her podcast. And she was like, what's the worst that could happen? So when it comes to your podcast, ask the big guest. Like, ask Chad Michael Murray.
So you can't say that to a girl that suffers from anxiety.
Anxiety.
Because I can tell you the worst that's going to happen.
Anxiety is the fear manifest, and you have to move beyond the fear and choose the version of Jenn that takes up space and walks up to Chad Michael Murray and says, choose me.
Pick me.
Pick me. You know that one better than I do.
No, that's from Grey's Anatomy. Sorry. Pick me. Pick me.
Anyway, we're getting our 90s mixed up, but it goes to the same point. What this podcast is lacking is an abundance mindset and a lack of fear to dream big and follow your dreams.
Yeah.
So I look forward to you asking
Jennie Garth right there.
Yeah, I look forward to you asking Chad Michael Murray.
We're trying to really trying to get that restraining order filed, aren't we?
You can only tag him on Instagram so many times. Yeah, so stay tuned. I might have more Jennie Garth updates. I might not.
Okay. Well, we look forward to it.
Carrie's book club corner.
All right, Carrie. So I saw Taylor Swift is now trademarking her voice, like the actual sound of her voice.
Yes, and honestly, it's kind of genius. So here's what happened. On April 24, Taylor filed 3 trademark applications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. 2 of them were sound trademarks, which are just audio clips of her saying, hey, it's Taylor Swift, and hey, it's Taylor. The third one is a very specific photo from the Eras tour showing her holding a pink guitar, wearing that iridescent bodysuit with the silver boots and the pink microphone and the purple lighting, the whole aesthetic.
Wouldn't that photo already be copyrighted?
Kinda. So traditional copyright laws protect the music that she's already recorded. But AI doesn't need those recordings anymore. It can analyze her voice and generate a completely new song that sounds like Taylor Swift singing something she never actually sang. And it's because it's technically new content that copyright law gets murky. So that's where trademark law comes in.
So I guess I don't understand how trademarking, hey, it's Taylor, stops AI from making fake songs.
Good question. It's because trademark law doesn't protect just exact copies. It also protects against things that are, quote unquote, confusingly similar. So someone uses AI to create a voice that sounds like Taylor saying, hey, it's Taylor. She can argue that it infringes on her federally registered trademark. The same thing holds with that Eras tour photo. If someone generates an AI image of Taylor in a bodysuit holding a guitar, she has a legal claim to it now.
Okay, got it. And since Taylor has already been victimized by AI, it makes sense why she's being so proactive about this.
The current laws weren't designed for this. Copyright protects your creative work. Right of publicity protects your likeness in some states, but it's not federal and it's inconsistent. Trademark law is the only thing that gives her a shot at stopping AI from impersonating her on a larger scale. And as you've seen, there's already plenty of bad actors out there that are using her likeness, other celebrity likenesses, and Disney characters to create sexually explicit content and other gross things that nobody wants to be associated with.
And it sounds like we have no statutory law on this, and we're going to wind up relying on case law. So does that mean that everybody is going to start trademarking their voice now?
Probably. Taylor's not even the first. Matthew McConaughey has also filed trademarks to protect his voice and likeness. So this is becoming a trend because celebrities are realizing that AI can literally clone them, and there's no law stopping it unless they create one themselves through trademarks.
This feels like we're living in a Black Mirror episode.
Right, we are. Correct. And Taylor is basically trying to legally own her entire existence to prevent AI from turning her into a deep fake puppet. She already filed over 300 trademarks in the US alone: album titles, aesthetics, phrases, concert themes. Each era is treated as its own distinct brand. The woman re-recorded her entire discography just to own her own masters, and now she's making sure that AI can't even whisper her name without getting sued.
I mean, honestly, respect, right? If anyone is going to weaponize intellectual property law, it's going to be Taylor Allison Swift.
100%. She's not just protecting herself, she's setting legal precedent for every artist who's about to get cloned by AI. And knowing Taylor, she's got a binder full of receipts and a team of lawyers ready to go.
Of course she does. So what happens if this actually works?
So if it works, it could completely change how we regulate AI-generated content. Right now, there's no federal law stopping someone from making an AI version of you and putting words in your mouth. But if Taylor can prove that a trademark law can apply to AI-generated voices and images, it opens the door for everyone else to do the same. Musicians, actors, influencers, teenage girls in high school, anyone whose likenesses can be weaponized.
So Taylor Swift might accidentally save us all from AI hell?
After she saves herself first, the rest of us could benefit from this. The biggest takeaway here is that our laws are nowhere near ready for what AI can do, and people like Taylor are having to get creative just to protect our own identities. While us normies over here are still using Claude to help us draft a sales presentation or fill in those Excel formulas, or in your and I's case, Jen, helping us create very sexy whiteboards and little song intros. We're making the best out of AI over here and hurting no one,
Right.
while also increasing our own personal skills. But no, we're not ripping off other artists' likenesses and the other things that Taylor is trying to protect, and things that I'm very much behind.
Yeah, no one's trying to deep fake us.
Not yet. Give it 5 years.
Great. All right, that's it for us this week on Mighty Race Later.
Thank you for spending your time with us. Please like and subscribe for more draft party disasters, Taylor Swift outsmarting technology, and snarky takes on pop culture chaos.